Hi, welcome to I and M YouTube channel, and remember to subscribe. Today, I'm privileged to host one of our favorite and best political, asking him some of the questions concerning the concluded election. I'll give him a chance to introduce himself.
Thank you so much. My name is Mugambi Mwirigi. I'm privileged to be invited today by our host to talk about our feelings in the just concluded general elections. And the best date is that she has invited me and Amikadania and offered me a few of them to be enjoying though later after the interview. Thank you very much.
Okay, are you ready for the interview?
Very much ready.
So I will ask you some of the questions which I want you now. Okay, our first question is, why do you think Raila lost in the general election?
There are several reasons as to why Raila Amolo lost the general elections, but we shall just highlight a few. Like, for example, we know that these two people, let me talk about the two horses, where there were four of them. There are places that we call the strongholds. Like, we knew that Rift Valley is a stronghold for Ruto, and then we expected that places like Nyanza are stronghold for Raila. But this time around, we saw that Raila did not or was not able to capture his strongholds well. For example, Bungoma County.
Okay, before you continue, how do you think Raila did not maybe capture the Bungoma as his stronghold?
I think he underrated Wetangula, who was in his camp and later joined the Kenya Kwanza camp. And according to me, and or according to the results that we saw, he brought votes to Ruto's camp. I think Raila could have created more time, having seen that one of his soldiers has left the camp. He could have taken more time and concentrated on such areas so that maybe he could at least retain the people that voted for him in 2017.
So you think, or if Raila now did a lot of campaigning in Bungoma, maybe they could now have added up to his now winning in the election?
No, whatever was required of Raila Amolo is that he just needed to retain. He did not need more votes from him. He just needed to retain whatever he had in the previous years, and that is what he lost. He could have created more time and maybe not think that it is still his bedroom, and put more resources, like putting more time in his campaigns in such counties where he thought that they are his strongholds maybe.
Okay, our viewers, one of the reasons that you have heard from our analysts is that Raila underrated Bungoma, which he thought that it was one of his strongholds. Okay, which is now our second reason as to why you think Raila lost the election.
The second reason as to why Raila Amolo, maybe according to me and the people that I've talked to, the reason as to why he could have, that the reasons that made him lose the elections is because he started his campaigns late. The time that, by the time he was starting his campaigns, he had very many people already in the ground. Like, for example, is one of the biggest opponent who was the president now. He started his campaigns a little bit earlier than Raila. And by the time Raila was coming...
Continue, when you talk of late, what do you mean that he started his campaigns late?
The meaning of the word late is that, there's someone who came to the ground before him. And by the time he was coming to the ground, like for example Mount Kenya, by the time Raila was coming to Mount Kenya, we already had a gospel that was already spreading. And it became difficult for him to change whatever people had gotten from the opponent, the view that people had gotten, and it's like a software had been installed to those people. You could not spread any other gospel. If you see even the people whom he had in his camp, they really tried, because compared to the previous year's campaigns and 2022 general elections, we saw an improvement in Mount Kenya, though it was not that significant to give him the votes.
So if we went to Mount Kenya, maybe those regions a bit earlier, it could have helped.
Yeah, I think that one could have helped, though. You know, there's a gospel. The opponent coming earlier really beat him very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if he just polished in those areas, in those some of the regions that maybe he did not market himself well in the last election, he could have at least won the seat.
Yeah, he could have won the seat, because if you see the opponent coming earlier really did him much, because if you see even the strongholds that we thought that are Raila's stronghold, like for example Mombasa, we thought of strongholds like Ukambani, we could see that the Kenya Kwanza team had a lot. It's like they were competing for those votes. So I think that him coming earlier for campaigns really helped him very much.
So our reason number 2, our viewers, is that Raila came a bit late in some of the regions like Mount Kenya. Instead of now, if he could have maybe gone to those regions a bit earlier, it could have at least boosted the number of votes in the regions. So let's go to our very last reason, or maybe our analyst will tell us if it is the last reason as to why Raila lost the general election. So back to our analyst.
Okay, the reason that I think that has a lot. The next reason as to why I think Raila lost the elections is because of the handshake. The handshake really costed him a lot, and you know, the mess that was already in the government was attributed to him, and the people thought that it's because of the handshake that the government started falling apart.
Okay, our analyst, I thought to Kenyans, when they heard of the handshake, it will give them a sigh of relief. They thought the handshake will bring peace among them, maybe the people of the western region and the Mount Kenya region. How did it bring the loopholes in the election?
The handshake was meant to bring peace, but remember, the moment handshake started, that is when maybe now Kenya, the economy started getting harsh to Kenya, and maybe not because of the handshake, of course we know that. It's because of maybe we can call them, some of them being natural calamities, like, you know, we had the Ukraine war, which caused the fuels to go up. We had the drought that caused the maize flour to go up, and you know, we had a lot of debts that were borrowed by maybe the government that was there. So I think the mess, let me not call it the mess, but according to the views that I've gotten from people around, they thought that all those things that were happening were brought about by the handshake. That is why it became very hard for the Azimio la Umoja coalition to sell in Mount Kenya, by the way. They thought that it is Raila Amolo who brought the problems that Kenyans are facing now.
So they thought now Raila, joining now the Jubilee, is the source of all the problems, the finances, the food, the economy, all those.
Yeah,
they attributed them to Raila.
That is what that is what Wananchi were thinking, of which I cannot say it's true or it's wrong, because I have not been in that government. But that has been attributed very much to the downfall. Like in Mount Kenya, selling Raila was very difficult, although the people from Mount Kenya really tried. It's like they thought that Raila is the one who has come to destroy their person, that is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and it really caused their downfall.
So do you think if there was no handshake, at least Raila could have won a great number of votes than the ones that he got?
If Raila did not associate himself with the Jubilee, I think I am 99% sure that by 8 a.m. he could be the president of Kenya. Because if you talk to anyone, even passing around here, he will tell you that it is Raila who failed the government, of which maybe he was not the one running the government. That is what Kenyans failed to understand, that Raila was not the president by then. He had nothing to do with the government. Maybe he just came for peace, and the peace really costed him a lot. He was just alone without being associated with Jubilee. That by 8 a.m. Raila Amolo could be the president.
So if we stick to the Azimio without now and shaking with the Jubilee Party, it would have won the seat.
Yeah, that is what many people will tell you. If he did not associate himself with Jubilee, then and that is why if you ask people, they'll tell you that because maybe they don't understand the common mananchi maybe around here. If you ask anyone, why did you not vote in Raila Amolo Odinga? He will tell you that it's because he's the one who messed up the government. Before he came into the camp, the government was good. But if you check by 2017, I think we already had the debts. The debts were already there, not that it is when Raila Amolo
He is not the one who now
Yeah.
made the debt to rise up.
He is not the one who made the debts were already there. The president was the one who was taking the debts. The economy was supposed to be all the president's fault, maybe. Yeah, but that is what people are saying, actually. And that is the main reason as to why Raila Amolo Odinga was not able to sell out. Even in his stronghold, some of the people were feeling that it is after the handshake that the economy started going down. So if he would have stayed away from the government by then, which was running, then right now it is Raila Amolo Odinga who could be addressing the UN. I think those are the views that I have.
Okay, our viewers, those are some of the reasons our analyst has given us as to why Raila lost in the general election. If you have other or you want some other debates, you can comment in the comment section. And please remember to subscribe. Bye bye. Till next time.